right, guys, welcome back to the TI4 American Qualifiers. It is finals day here on Beyond the Summit on the North American Hub. Again, we of course have SNA versus Team Liquid, a best-of-3 series coming up in just a second. Of course, we are about to get underway. Once again, thanks for joining us. I'm Mott. With me is Gods, Cinderin, and Sunsfan. Guys,
K-pop.
And we should have K-pop, but he decided to leave, and well, he's got to do other things over there. And
he decided to leave.
He just got up and left. So we'll have God step in, obviously, and
a definite upgrade.
Yes.
I have to say.
Wow.
Agreed. Also,
clear upgrade.
Wow. Dude, I was one of the few people who went to sleep early last night, like really early, because I was tired, and all I could hear, I kept getting woken up, and every time I was getting woken up, it was the people shouting, "Wow!" doing their best and shouting, "Wow!" Like I lost count of how many times I heard that being said. I felt bad for LD because I was like, man, LD's gonna be no.
Yeah, he told us he woke up from that as well, actually. So.
Really?
Awesome.
Oh boy,
hilarious.
But yeah, okay. Actually, the draft has just started, so let's try to be in it a little bit earlier. But before we go in, since you're just here, just came on, Gods.
Yes.
Predictions, just no percentages, just the total score. Who wins and by how much?
I think Liquid 2-0.
2-0 Liquid.
2-1 SNA, I think.
2-1 SNA.
Yeah.
2-1 Liquid.
2-1 Liquid. What do I think? I didn't even
2-0
think
SNA,
about
the only one that hasn't been said, so.
I'm not gonna gamble that. I don't believe in that. I'm gonna say 2-0 Liquid too. Actually,
oh, man,
I think
I'm the only SNA picker here.
I still think they're a stronger team. But we're gonna go into the draft, I guess. We have the first two bans coming up. So for Team Liquid, they have been banning out the IO, and Sneaky Nix Assassins have banned out the Treant. So pretty standard opening.
Where's the Disruptor? Where's the Darkseer? Oh, you're in trouble.
I think they're gonna first pick it.
You're in trouble. You are in trouble, Team Liquid. Good
Here
Lord Almighty.
comes the Disruptor pick.
Like and taken out, so... What is up with Invoker not being picked or banned anymore, like, all of a sudden? Like, when the patch came out, he was slightly nerfed. So I think it was, what, 2.6 to 2.9 for the EMP. That was the biggest change, but...
It's like the only change.
There might have been something else.
I think that was the only change.
Well, either way, he was still picked right after the patch, and he's had decent success, just like as always.
He is still a major pick, but this qualifier has had its own little meta game, which always happens in bigger tournaments that last over a longer time. Is that they start developing their own meta, which is really interesting to watch. But for me, that's a big question too. Like, where did Invoker go? Why are we not seeing that picked as much as in the rest of the world? And Disruptor has become a really big pick. And I feel like right now Liquid are they're going to grab the Darkseer, which is one of the heroes that Sneaky Nix also likes to play. But this means they're giving them the Disruptor, and I'm not sure what the reasoning is. There's
Big
absolutely there's no way Sneaky Nix are not picking that. They've done it every single time. And I don't think, we've seen Nix playing the IO, and we have seen them playing the Bat Rider. So the two bans from Liquid are certainly heroes that Sneaky Nix play.
Have we seen Whitebeard lose with Disruptor one time? Okay, apparently he's had two, so I'm an idiot.
Two losses?
Any games that we've cast that we've done, he definitely has now. Okay, so Tiny's going to be picked. This is after the Wisp ban. We saw this yesterday, I believe, and it worked out. How did it work out? I don't remember. Stats, guys. Let's do it. I think it worked out okay, to be honest. It didn't go horribly. I know that for
Conrad doing his best select impression. I don't know. Okay, I think Sneaky Nix Assassins is the only team, or not the only team, but one of the. It's been very few games where Tiny is picked without the IO, but Sneaky Nix has like more than half of them. I would say almost certainly. They love picking it. They generally haven't picked it this early. It was mostly a second phase or even fifth pick for them. But going into this game against Liquid did play the Tiny on Koikva yesterday. It was with an IO, though, and they actually even lost that game, so perhaps they're not too worried. But I think they're worried that if they don't pick the Tiny now, it's going to get banned by Liquid in the second phase. And I personally am a big fan of seeing Tiny picked even without IO, because I think it's been an underrated hero, and he is good in his own right without that buff up.
Man, Marana has never played for Team Liquid. This is a shock among shocks.
It's true.
They're going to start banning for Korok, so Brewmaster's there. Or by there, I mean banned.
Banned for Korok? Who's Korok?
Oh, that's right. I'm actually jumping ahead of myself for the grand finals, I guess. But they're banning Brewmaster either way, who's been very strong in his qualifiers.
Korok Mike 88?
Well, maybe Korok is ringing. You never know. They are friends, so or so I hear.
I think you know.
But the Tiny Disruptor, who lanes with Tiny in this case? Like, what's a good lane?
Maybe no one. He can play solo mid, he can play solo safe lane,
Right.
and you can lane with him if you want. You can also even put him in an aggressive trial lane. This hero is kind of flexible in the laning. Of course, he has the weakness that he's melee with 0 armor, but if you... Yeah, there's many combinations you can put him with. You can put him with a Shadow Demon for an easy avalanche toss combo, with Soul Catcher that hurts like hell.
Right.
Any sort of follow-up stun where Tiny is the initiating hero in the lane also works, and they have Glimpse to set that up. I feel like if you're Sneaky Nyx right now, you don't even necessarily need to get a support for Tiny. I was thinking they could get Enchantress, but that one just got banned by Liquid, so they've done their homework too. And of course, this, as we mentioned before this in the pregame show, is that these two teams know each other pretty well because both Fluff and Stuff and Ixmike used to play on Liquid. So
Right.
the Liquid players know what Fluff is looking for in the draft and in strategy in general, and vice versa. So
Do you think Sand King's gonna get picked for Team Liquid? You're talking about how they completely ignored him, and well,
he is so amazing already.
Demon's so much better playing more aggressive heroes. I feel like.
Yeah,
I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to play the mid. You know, it's just somebody that can rotate around. And I mean, Coddle. I guess we did see a crazy gank with Coddle very early the other day, but
yeah.
that's not a very common thing to see.
If I'm Liquid, I pick Sanking now. That would be my advice. It fits perfectly. You've got the vacuum setup for a Burrow Strike / Epicenter in mid game. You have a setup stun for the Mirana Arrow in the lane. And worth noting about the Sand King stun is that it has full duration on all levels.
Right.
So, and I think that's like it's like 2 point some weird number, I believe. But it's a long stun, which is enough for the arrow to combine with it. It's actually a classic lane from years ago in Dota 1. It used to be played in like 648B or something like that. It's like ancient history in Dota terms almost by now.
I'd like to see, from Sneaky Nyx, I'd like to see somebody that, because we don't really see Tiny without an EO very often. So I'd like to see maybe not a dual lane, but something that you can do when you're trying to push a little bit in the mid game that you don't need the Blink Dagger, like on Centaur, as an example. Just toss in a Centaur and just dump all over everybody. But remains to be seen what exactly they're going to be doing here. The last ban for Sneaky Nyx is the Morphling. They're going to pick up the Shadow Demon, which is obviously would be a very good pick for Team Liquid. So in some ways it's a deny, but in other ways it's still an amazing, amazing support hero.
I believe it was Sneaky Nyx that pulled it off earlier, that running this support duo, which in early game, these two heroes really need levels, I feel like. Shadow Demon, sure, Disruption is great at all times, but you want to get up to that Demonic Purge, and want to get higher levels on either Soul Catcher or Shadow Poison most of the time.
I think Disruptor needs more levels than Shadow
But
Demon.
Disruptor, for me, is like one of the best supports in the game when he hits level 7.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge impact hero. So these two heroes aren't really the best of ganking duos because Shadow Demon sets up for like a follow-up, but Disruptor doesn't have one. But Sneaky Nyx has made it work before, and if they get their levels early on, they're going to a really powerful mid-game. So if you're Liquid now, do you feel like this is a weakness in Sneaky Nyx's draft? Okay, actually this lane isn't really that strong. Shadow Demon, Disruptor, plus maybe Tiny or another hero. Perhaps this is an aggressive trial lane game again for Liquid. I mean, they have been doing that in almost all their games in the tournament. Or are they starting to worry that it's too predictable and they need to do something else? And I love seeing the Dragon Knight. I feel like this hero has been picked very little by Liquid, but Koikva plays a really great Dragon Knight. It's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit, even though it wasn't changed at all, and it is still a really strong hero.
Against the Demonic Purge, and of course Disruption when you have Dragon form level
Disruption
3.
on dragons is really good.
I mean, Shadow Demon.
I think it's more Soul
Dragon
Catcher you're worried about, to be honest, as Dragon Knight.
Okay, all 3 of his 4 abilities are really good against
Shadow
Dragon
Demon is a
Knight.
good hero against Dragon Knight, but the others, not necessarily so much. So, and the moment he gets a BKB, of course, only the Demonic Purge is worrying.
Right.
But even if you get Demonic Purged, you have the Darkseer to surge him away, perhaps. So there are ways Liquid can play around this. And for me, the most important thing for Liquid here is that they do something else. Again, that sure, the Darkseer and Mirana are heroes they've played, the Dragon Knight, bring that into the pool. I think this 4th pick from Liquid is also going to be something different. I don't think they're going to pick Keeper of the Light now, especially not into a Nyx.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Spiky Carapace. Spiky Carapace is really good
Spicy Carapace.
Illuminate. He just had some spicy tacos last night, so sometimes the spells change names. Either way, it seems as if Nyx Assassin is going to be, in all likelihood, the off lane. Since they are Radiant, it's going to be decently easy overall. Disruptor, I don't know. Disruptor, I feel like is so good mid. I want to see him mid so bad, but Whitebeard doesn't necessarily need to do that to get the levels. He always finds a way. Wraith King's going to be a pick for Team Liquid, so they're going pretty tanky. I mean, 3 out of the 4 are very tanky heroes in their own right. Despite even Darkseer's intelligence is, as an intelligence hero, he's still very tanky.
And 3 out of the 4 heroes are heroes Liquid have picked the whole tournament as well. So still not
And their melee.
not so creative. Yeah, they have 3 melees too, but I think Wraith King as a support is really strong. So I don't mind them picking that once again. But now I would disagree if they pick into a Coddle now. It's too predictable. It's what they've run the whole tournament. Even though he has good synergy with their other heroes, I think they should do something else. Actually, it even gets banned by Sneaky Nyx Assassin, so never mind that. If you're Liquid now, you're running the Wraith King as support. They've done that the whole tournament, so they need a secondary support now to go with Wraith King Mirana. I still think it's not... I know this might sound crazy, because then they're going to have 4 melees, but pick that Sand King for Demon.
Yeah.
Way 2 plays the Wraith King, so no problem there.
I mean, 4 melee seems to be the flavor of the month anyway, so why not? Let's just do it. Elder Titans, that's a really good ban for Team Liquid. Something that SNA could have done, although that means that Nyx Assassin would be in some sort of a tri-lane setup, and Disruptor would be mid in all likelihood, but not sure what SNA is actually looking for here.
Yeah, and the one of the reasons Elder Titan would have been really good is, of course, the way Natural Order works, it removes base armor. And correct me if I'm wrong, and you hate correcting me on mechanics or stuff like that, because sometimes we're not sure and we get into discussions, but I think the armor you add with Dragon Blood and Dragon Knight is considered base armor. It's not considered an extra bonus. So all of the Dragon Blood armor, I believe, is, as a matter of fact, removed by Natural Order.
I'm pretty sure.
Because at least the way it's displayed in the game, when he's skills...
It doesn't say plus.
It doesn't say plus, so I'm assuming it just adds it to his base armor.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So because of that, Elder Titan is an awesome hero against Dragon Knight. It's a hero that Sneaky Nyx has played, and it would have had great synergy with the lineup. So a really good ban here coming out from Team Liquid.
Well, if we're going to see a Tiny with a Shadow Demon, obviously we'd like to see Shadow Demon with a Mirana to set up the arrow, or a burst hero such as, I don't know, Centaur.
I don't know.
You already knew what I was going to say.
Centaur's good here.
Tiny has burst damage, but the problem is if you can't really get the toss off like correctly every time because of the illusions. Nature's Prophet is going to be the last pick for SNA. So decent mobility there. Nyx Assassin as well, I suppose, but it's just weird not seeing Wisp with the Tiny.
It is. But for Sneaky Nyx, it's not so weird, because they really like to play it even without the IO. But the thing that Sneaky Nyx does with Nature's Prophet that they do pretty much differently than every other team is when SNA is playing that in the mid lane, sometimes he gets an instant Dagon, basically, and just starts racking up kills left, right, and center.
But they have 3 really tanky heroes. Is that
yeah, I think in this game a Necronomicon is awesome. You remove the mana from the Wraith King. Yeah. You can harass the Darkseer really effectively with that, and a hero like Dragon Knight as well. Just that 1 mana burn from the ranged Necronomicon can actually do a lot of work here. And yeah, if you're Liquid, I feel like Sneaky Nyx actually has a well-rounded draft here. They have the carry and the Tiny. They have late game with Nature's Prophet too. They have good pickup opportunities with Nyx and Prophet combined, together with the Glimpse. And their laning is going to be okay too. So really, going into this game, no matter what Liquid picks, I don't think Sneaky Nyx are too worried about what heroes they got.
Right. I think Sand King would be pretty decent here, because you don't have to worry about the laning stage as much when you have a Wraith King setting up the stuns for you. But they're going to go for Bane, so a little bit more traditional. Of course, Nightmare into Arrow isn't always the easiest thing if they toggle it, but I guess it depends on what lane they're going to be going in and if they're going to be moving around a lot. Again, we talked about how TC shouldn't... I feel like they should be in an aggressive tri-lane.
I don't think this Bane pick was good at all.
No?
To be honest. So the reason is, when he grips someone, that guy can get disrupted.
It's true.
There's an 1800 range Glimpse to stop the grip too. There's a Static Storm which counters Bane pretty well as well. Then there's a Nyx who also counters Bane pretty well, because if he has Carapace up, when you brain sap him, you heal 0.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason this Bane is going to be very good for Liquid
Enfeeble versus Tiny early?
is, yeah, they could run the Enfeeble build if they want, but I feel like this is a commitment from Liquid to get kills early on. If they don't use that Nightmare into Arrow combination very well, I feel like Bane is a very mediocre at best mid-game hero in this particular game. There's just too many counters to him, to be honest. So, a little surprised to see Liquid grabbing that. I think there were better options, but if they play a good early game, they're going to silence me on that pick.
My screen. My screen. What is going on, Conrad? Please, Conrad, fix
there we go.
Volvo. Thank you.
Vision. And we're almost up to $5 million prize pool.
Wow, yeah, I was way out. I thought it would be 4. Apparently, we're AC and Fear Dota. Man, Conrad is on the ball today. I tell you what, son.
Conrad, have you done anything right today? All right.
Okay, we'll still blame it on Conrad. It's all good. Yes. Okay, anyway.
Fear?
Yeah, I am Fear. I'm Fear itself.
Nice to meet you.
So, going with the lineups here for Sneaky Nyx Assassins first, we're going to have IX Mike playing the...
They called stand-in.
What?
Why does he have stand-in
Oh, you're
tag?
right. That is so weird.
Okay.
That new feature just hasn't really worked out yet. has
That's
it?
awesome. Okay,
Anywho.
so Nyx Assassins are standing in for themselves.
Yeah,
That's good.
okay, that's good to see. Ike's Mike playing the Nyx Assassin. We got Whitebeard, of course, on his patented Disruptor. Fluff and Stuff, the Shadow Demon. SNA on SNA playing the, thank God it's not Nyx, although either way this is confusing because they get Nyx every game, it seems. Playing the Nature's Prophet and Ush, who's been playing quite a bit of Tiny, although he's very versatile, it seems, but Tiny seems to be the hero, his go-to.
Yeah. And on Team Liquid, we do get what we were talking about. Maybe they need to mix things up a little bit. We've got TC in the mid lane.
Okay.
Playing as the Dragon Knight. So they're going to put Koikva onto the Mirana in the top lane, which TC has been playing pretty much the entire tournament. He will be supported by Demon on the Bane. So, again, more active hero for Demon. So far, so good for Liquid, I feel. Bulba will be playing as the Darkseer in the offlane as per norm, and Way2 will be playing the second support in the Wraith King.
Which he's been playing that a lot as well.
Yeah.
So. Looks like it's going to be a dual lane, Shadow Demon, Tiny versus Dragon. How do you think this matchup will go for... I don't think they can kill Dragon Knight.
No, but at the same time, Dragon Knight pretty much shouldn't be getting a CS that isn't used that he doesn't claim with Breathe Fire. Fluff should be really aggressive on him, keep harassing him, holding him away, securing free farm for Ush. And this mid lane needs to be won heavily by Nyx Assassins, because top lane they're going to get crushed.
Disruption in the Avalanche, but not even
good
at half
damage,
HP.
wow. That hurt him quite
So
a
I guess
lot.
once they get Soul Catcher... See, that's the problem, though. Like, the way that Avalanche toss works, you got to toss the unit itself to be able to get the double damage, I believe. So
Yes.
And it's... If you're up close and personal, it's a random chance between that in that AoE. So it's 1 out of 3, I suppose.
Yeah,
I guess
unless
if you
get
position yourself
yeah.
really well.
But that's so hard to set up, and there's it's kind of one of those plays that when you get it right, it's awesome, but at the same time, it's kind of a risk reward
Oh,
thing.
there's the toggling. Whitebeard doing a really good job of making. Who is it? It's not TC. It's Koifka, right? Yeah, playing the Mirana, missing the arrow. So that's gonna be. I mean, if this was a 3v1, this would be a kill every single time. But with the dual lane, I think really smart play from SNA, setting it up this way.
Yeah, and in combination with that, they have the buffer of Mike also having the Spike Carapace.
That's
so
true too. Yeah.
It is actually, this is really intelligent coming out of Nyx Assassins. As long as they don't get killed up here and they can run this dual lane and Mike gets experience, I think this is a very good start for them. And it is the Radiant offlane. So what we're seeing right now is, of course, the opportunity they have. They can pull out to the creep wave, actually only managing... Oh, there we go. He just managed to take that hit. And this is so good for Nyx Assassins when this happens, because it's hard for Liquid to get all this CS. If some of the neutrals die, they share the experience. That's more for them. This is going pretty well so far for Sneaky Nyx Assassins, although the bottom lane, Bulba is dominating pretty heavily. Prophet cannot win this lane.
Yeah. Well, Darkseer wins almost every single lane anyway, so I guess we shouldn't be too shocked. That's why he's been first pick so often in this tournament. Something to mention, the mana burn from Nyx Assassin isn't necessarily... It's not the worst, but it's not very good against Wraith King, because it's based off of, correct me if I'm wrong, base intelligence and...
Total intelligence.
Okay, total intelligence, which, you know, Wraith King is lacking quite a bit as a strength hero, but it's not... You still use it, though, right? Like, how much does it actually burn?
His intel growth is 1.6, which is pretty low, but still something. And the multiplier for Nyx, of course, scales when he levels it up. On level 1, which we're probably going to see most of the time here in this... I think Mike will probably not level this up. So we're going to see a little bit of harassment coming out on Demon. Actually, the Nightmare here.
Can he toggle it from the low ground? He's going to do it.
Oh,
Actually, the arrow
nicely played by Mike.
Ike's Mike tanking the arrow so well, but here comes the Wraithfire Blast, and this might actually cost him his life because the Spike Carapace is already used, of course. Double Impale to follow. Ike's Mike still on the run. Koifka, is he going to dive this? One more last hit's going to get the first blood in favor of Liquid, so very close. Well played overall from both sides.
Yeah, I think it was the right call from Koikva there to just go for the melee range arrow on Mike and try to set up a kill, because I love how SNA are being... It just seems like they know exactly how to play this lane. That was beautifully played. They're just 2 against 3, and I don't think they could survive that situation they got into, so pretty well done by them to at least force Liquid to use as much as they did and almost get out.
Right. Now we have the bottom lane, of course, Nature's Prophet versus the Darkseer. Darkseer, as you said, is... I don't know if I'd call that dominating. It's about 6 creeps. That's not the worst. 7 creeps.
Aw, TP top lane.
Top lane, Nature's Prophet. Speaking of which, he's going to sprout up Koifka, who does not have his leap off cooldown. There goes the Impale, finishing him off. Ike's Mike getting credit for the kill. The right clicks onto SNA himself. Is this going to be enough? The Ray Fire Blast on Whitebeard, they actually might get him instead. One more right click, he's not going to do it. Nightmare applied to IX Mike, toggling left and right. Everybody really low for SNA, but they're able to get out.
And now Ush in the bottom lane going on Bulba. He's level 3 against level 6. This is not going to work out for Ush.
That was an actual illusion rune, right? That wasn't a disruption. So it just goes to show you he's not able to get the true combo off.
Yeah, that was actually, he
wouldn't have gotten a kill either way, but
that didn't really matter. But this rotation from Sneaky Nyx Assassins, of course, with Prophet TPing top, they want to maximize their experience gain, so they rotate the Tiny down to the bottom lane to put a little bit of pressure on Bulba and get a little experience. He's coming back to mid, but the biggest surprise for me right now is how much farm TC has. He's got 24 CS against the 17 of Tiny, and he's playing a 1-on-2 lane.
Yeah,
that's just not good enough if you're Sneaky Nyx. This is a lane you should be winning. And they are not only, I would say they're losing it, even if it's tied on farm, but they're actually getting out farms. This is a heavy loss.
Well, it's more, I feel like it's more levels than anything at this point, too. I mean, Dragon Knight's going to hit level 6 before Tiny, be able to push to his heart's content. But I feel like Ush might want to just, like, start, maybe not yet, but he's going to be more active than a Dragon Knight, I feel. But we'll see if we have a smoke here from Demon and Way 2. Going to try to set up a kill on Tiny. Attempting to bait him in. Not even needing to. Dragon Tail, he's already level 6. I didn't even realize that. Speaking of it, but Ush is dead. Disruption's not able to be there. Even if he'd gotten it off, it wouldn't have been a save either way.
And with that, 2 for 1 for Liquid. They actually, this is one of the games where we should be looking at the graphs really early on, because there's a big pattern already shaping here. Almost 2,000 gold lead for Liquid, and experience 1,500. So their lanes are just going way better than those of SNA, who...
They've won every lane to some degree.
Yeah, pretty much. Even though the Sneaky Nyx Assassins have been doing okay in the top lane, they still haven't really got any farm. I mean, IX Mike, how many CS does he have? He has 12. Okay, that could be worse. Disruptor has 0 and 0 because he hasn't been pulling or anything, so...
The levels are a little bit more an advantage for SNA for the supports in that tri-lane. But everywhere else, mid is big-time won by Dragon Knight now. I mean, he's 2 levels higher, has the kill on Ush. And then bottom lane, as we talked about, Darkseer is pretty much dominating as well. We might have a gank attempt onto TC, who's in dragon form. Not anymore. You're in melee now, bro. Soul Catcher Disruption. There's the Avalanche. Didn't get the full duration of it, though.
He's just completely surrounded, though.
No
Very nicely done. That's a high priority kill right there. Highest hero on the Dire side gets ganked. Ush gets the kill.
I would say get bursted, but that didn't feel fast enough. I don't know.
Get wiggled away at. It's more like it. But with this gank from
wiggled? Whittled.
Whittled. Oh, wiggle Billy.
Get wiggled.
Okay,
we can do that. It's fine. Actually, top lane, Thunderstrike. That's gonna give him a little bit of vision into the glimpse. Kinetic field.
Oh,
not sure if
the
it's lovely.
lane.
Impale's gonna miss, and IX Mike has absolutely no mana to speak of. Nice toggling of the Nightmare, but that's gonna set up the air onto Whitebeard, who's only level 3. This is just domination from Liquid in the early laning stages. IX Mike now on the run. He has Spike Carapace. Could potentially dodge a little bit of damage, but the Ray Fire Blast, yeah, he does have mana for it. Not going to pursue, though. And Liquid just on top of things right now.
Yeah, they got them bottom tier 1 tower, and IX Bulba has a lot of farm. I don't know how that turned into Mike for me. He's got 50 CS at 7 minutes, or 8 minutes, which is pretty damn good. Also didn't have the hardest lane, so we would be expecting that from Bulba.
Oh, boy.
What's
going on, gods? Oh, okay. Got to mute the co-broadcasters, which he's still finding.
Oh boy.
Right, we're good. We're almost good. Call this fight, Cinderin, for me. Why don't you?
Yeah, so we're going to have a gank coming in from Bulba. He has skilled the wall, and they will be getting Whitebeard here. Dragon Knight gets disrupted. Bulba actually has to kind of get the hell out of here. He's getting really, really low. The Shadow Demon has a Soul Catcher on. Needs one more hit. Dodges it by running down. That Shadow Pulse was just completely off.
What am I watching?
Hope you enjoyed the Spotify, so.
This is awesome.
But the Liquid kind of got away with murder there. They got the kill on Whitebeard. They forced TPs. None of their heroes died. Bulba escaped with the skin of his teeth, and we'll be going back to base. Almost has the mechanism at 9 minutes.
Right.
That tier 1 tower in mid didn't take too much damage though. So the dragon form got them the kill, but nothing more.
Man, Whitebeard level 3. I haven't seen him get dominated like this. He's gonna use his Thunderstrike, I'm sure, to get these creeps low. So Ush can get a nice stack. That'll bring him back to some degree. I mean, anytime there's a tomato and potato in there, it's good. It's good feeding for the Tiny, I feel like. Although he's not going to go for it. It's a triple stack at the moment. Perhaps waiting for it to get to 4. 4 is the lucky number for Tiny after all, with the level 4 ulti, as I like to call it, after getting Aghanim Scepter. But Yeah, Liquid, they seem to be they're on their rotations right now, and I feel like that, aside from the laning difference, that's the difference in the game right now.
Yeah, so far this early game from Liquid has been really good, and as long as their supports are getting levels, Wraith King is only level 4 and so is Bane, so I feel like that's the one thing Liquid need to accomplish something with. Get a smoke gank out, which it looks like Demon will be doing that right now on the Bane. Get the Bane and Wraith King up to level 6, then you're looking exceptionally good in this game. They have the top 3 on last hits as well. And if you're SNA right now, you need the Nyx to play. He has to come into ganks with Vendetta right now. Set up kills on preferably the Dragon Knight if they can get that kill, but that's actually not that easy. Or, yeah, actually that might be exactly what they're doing right now. He's starting to pressure the mid lane,
Well, they're gonna bait
and
him
Mike
up.
is there.
There's no vision for Liquid, but TC feels the tingling in his testicles and will fall back, no problem. But of course, Dragon Knight's one of those heroes. He's not going to take down your tower right away. It's more like you peck at it a couple times and eventually it'll go down. Because it's, what is it, 20 damage per second for 5 seconds, and it doesn't stack, so it's not like you can just continue to take. What are you laughing about, Cinder?
Dragon testicles, that's kind of funny.
That's
Okay.
pretty hardcore.
A little bit of a ward being dropped down here by Sneaky Nyx. So they're trying to safeguard their own jungle. I believe this ward will actually block their pull, so they can't use that camp for the next 7 minutes, which is, I guess, maybe not too worrying. I think they want the safety more than anything, but it's the small advantages right now, and Liquid are just going to keep building on their advantage. They've got so good farm. Top lane, SNA is going to be in a lot of trouble. Way 2 coming in. This is a great TP coming in from Qualifiers. Going to be an easy kill. Double Starstorm and a single
I never
attack.
realized how small the AoE is on the second Starstorm. Did you know? It's like 175 AoE.
Hey, you need to be in
It's
melee.
ridiculously
Cast it.
small. Anywho, Koifka doing a very good job on Mirana. He's being active, and I feel like TC could do that if he wanted to on Mirana, but it's just not something we see that often. But he's going to be Dragon. You're kind of forced to be active with Dragonite, so I guess that in itself is fine. IX Mike, Vendetta up, going to find Demon in his own jungle. The question is, can he get the combo off?
It's very easy in this area. Now it's not so easy anymore. In that tree line, Demon can't really run anywhere.
Oh, boy. Well, he has time to sleep him, so I guess Demon's going to be fine.
My God.
No
He's
stun for
gonna
Nature's
get
Prophet.
out.
Oh, my. If only the it's not a disjoint, but the sprout that pushes you obviously doesn't cancel any TPs, but tier 1 tower next on the list for Liquid.
And all of these, every time a mistake like this happens, it's not just that they don't get the kill, but they waste time. And this is going to cost them a tier 1 tower top. If they get that kill and they push heavily bottom, perhaps they can get a trade here, but now Bane is already back and he will come bottom and probably pull away the creeps here, so costly mistake. Liquid will be taking the top tier 1 on Dragon Knight. He can buy a full Midas now if he wants to, or aim for that early BKB, which we haven't talked about just yet, but exactly how good that is against the lineup of the Sneaky Nyx Assassins. It is the item of choice here. Karko will be getting a Midas on the Mirana, and... Oh.
He has a Midas on the Mirana.
Yeah, sorry. The question is if TC will be getting his.
Moonlight
We don't know
Shadow.
that yet.
This is going to be a gank attempt onto SNA himself. Dragon Tail should be in range for this, along with the Ion Shell, but not really taking full advantage. Now he finally does. Here come the 2 TPs from SNA. Beautiful Sprout. TC's actually in quite a bit of trouble. The arrow isn't going to connect other than creeps. Soul Catcher should be enough for the right. Actually, the wand doing quite a bit for TC.
Oh, he might get away here.
Very close. The right clicks. Are they there?
Oh,
Shadow
Bulba!
Poison. That's 2 stacks.
Oh,
Not
Bulba,
gonna need
no!
him. He goes. What happened?
Bulba ran next to TC to try to help him out, and then he surged himself.
Oh, no. Double click on the
God,
surge.
that's
Or just
unfortunate.
complete
Kind of a
misclick?
panic play. I think TC could have potentially got away there, but still, with how he got caught out of the tower, he should have probably died. So at the end of the day, maybe it's fair enough he ends up dying. But that was a little bit weird. Seems like there's some nerves for both teams. It is, of course, a really important match, but a little more misplays in general than I feel like we've seen from both teams for the rest of the
Glimpse.
tournament.
There's the kinetic
Glimpse.
field into Static Storm. Way 2 has his ultimate, so we'll fall here. Question is, does he have any backup? And looking at the minimap, the answer is an emphatic no. He's going to try to get the kill on Whitebeard, not able. The dot damage. You love that word.
I hate
dot
it.
damage. I'm going to continue to do it. I don't give a crap anymore. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ush. Getting Nightmare. Nice toggle again. This might cause SNA to die as a result. They're going to continue upon Ush, though.
Demon just took it over for some reason.
Okay, well, Soul Catcher, Impale. Goodbye, Darkseer. Sprout onto Demon. As you talked about, he slept himself, apparently. Tries to get his Fiend's Grip off, but it's canceled pretty much immediately by his death. So 3 for 1 exchange. SNA doing a really good job of... I mean, they needed... This is exactly what they needed. If not more.
These fights are extremely clumsy. I'm really shocked by... Like, as I said, these 2 teams have been playing pretty solidly in their own right in this tournament, but in this game so far, the ratio of just flat-out mechanical misplays just mistakes with using spells incorrectly and has been really, really high. So
Wraith King's already.
I'm wondering if the teams are just waking up. To be honest, it's like
it's possible.
There are quite a few mistakes. We'll see if they shape up their play a little bit. But it's been kind of evenly distributed. But that fight was an absolute nightmare for Liquid. No pun intended. But that there were a couple of misplays. Shut up! Your jokes are worse.
Pun was okay. You can't say pun not intended if it was intended. Okay, it's not allowed. You're in America now.
It was okay.
So blunt about it.
It wasn't. How do I explain this? I didn't have it in mind before I thought of it halfway through my thought process.
That counts as pun intended.
Yeah, yeah, I'm terrible. I'm awful.
Arrow! Arrow! Oh, it's not gonna hit Ush. So close. And that actually breaks that up completely.
Yeah.
But
great
TC,
commentary.
TC
We're on the
doing
ball
a good
today.
job of.
We're waking up too.
It's okay. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten this tier 1 force with the amalgamation of SNA heroes. I can understand why. And in fact, the rest of Liquid's gonna break up, go into the jungle, and perhaps just farm away. But Ush getting closer and closer to the Agnum Scepter, taking a little breathe fire to the face. He's about 1,500 away from completing it. Has a DD rune. He got that quite a while ago. Expecting that to pop any second now. But Wave 2, level 8. Actually, what level is Demon? That's what I'm more interested in right now. So he's level 6. He's playing the. Is he playing the 5? I feel like he's playing the 4, but he's getting 5 experience. If that makes sense.
I think he's playing the 5 in this game as well, to be honest. I don't know how they've distributed it. He has wards in his stash right now, but there are sentries on the Wraith King. But still, Wraith King has treads and a broadsword, whereas Demon has arcane boots. So just in terms of overall net worth, the Wraith King is ahead by about 1,000.
Do you think items are more important on Wraith King than Bane?
I think a BKB on Bane in this game is crucial if they want to play this in mid-game, because else the chance, like we said in the draft, the chance of getting a Fiend's Grip off in mid-game against, if he has BKB, it's only the Disruption he's playing against. And potentially we're going to see...
Or Static Storm with Ags, as we love to see.
If he precasts that before the BKB. But it's still... I think SNA will be getting a BKB on Tiny at some point. So if he can Fiend Script him in that, that's going to be absolutely crucial. But if he doesn't have a BKB of his own, there are just so many counters. The Glimpse, Static Storm, Nyx with a stun, Tiny... Okay, he could script, so he can't stun. But yeah, so maybe Prophet gets a Hex as well.
Smoke ganks haven't been coming the way of SNA. Perhaps they're actually just waiting for that Aghanim Scepter on Tiny. As here is the grouping up from Liquid in mid. This tier 1 tower is about half HP. So
Dragon
one way or
Form
another
is
it's going to go
available.
down
Arrow?
this push, I believe. The arrow's going to whiff. Here comes the Dragon Tail. The Dragon Form, I should say. So this tower's dead one way or another. Can they get the deny is the question.
Oh, good Static Storm!
On top of the toss and the Avalanche. TC getting really low, getting slept by his teammate, but will fall. Basically zero damage done by Dragon Knight that time. 2 dead for Liquid right off the bat. And what is going on with Liquid right now?
Who would have thought a big play from Whitebeard's Disruptor was going to be important in this game?
He's finally found his levels, so.
Yeah, and he makes work of it immediately. That was a beautiful Static Storm, perfectly placed. Got like 3 or 4 heroes in it. And Liquid, the real issue for them there wasn't the damage of the Static Storm, it was the fact that they couldn't get in and assist the Dragon Knight. Because they all had to run into the storm, and that was just beautifully played by especially Whitebeard on SNA, but everyone really did their work there. So they were about 5,000 gold behind. I think they just took about 4k gold back with that fight, and the experience is now in their favor. So absolutely huge fight. And Liquid, they need to not get overconfident right now with the Dragon Knight in the front lines. That fight is totally different if he has a BKB. Because then he can get his Dragon Tail off, break the combo, get the tower, and get out.
Well, Ush now has his Aghanim Scepter, so this is when I expect them to start split pushing with the Nature's Prophet, or at least grouping up to some degree in the forest with the Smoke Ganks or something. Although they have come back quite a bit, so perhaps that's not even needed. I mean, looking at late game, who has the advantage here? I mean, Tiny Nature's Prophet is pretty scary, but you do have Mirana. I mean, Dragon Knight, I guess, falls off to some degree, but Mirana and even Wraith King to some degree is, with that lifesteal, makes everybody at least decent late game.
I think Liquid are going to be fine even if this goes extremely late. Of course, the Wraith King is a support, so expecting him to get a lot of items is kind of... It's unlikely, but with Dragon Knight and Mirana, as you say, with Vampiric Aura, they're going to be very powerful in the middle-late game. They are, however, going up against the Tiny, who will... With the farming rate this hero has, he's going to get ahead, basically. The question is by how much, and the Prophet with a Midas probably will also be getting ahead at some point if they split push very well, like you said they can do. So it's kind of hard to say right now how it's going to be. For me, the bigger question isn't even farm related. It is how are Liquid going to be handling the game from now on? They just got crushed in a fight. Are they going to stay focused? Are they going to...
It's been like 2 or 3 fights.
Yeah, actually they lost a fight before that as well. So are they going to play more passively because they're worried about taking fights? And
well, they do have the dire advantage for Roche. They have the vampiric aura to take. I mean, you don't need
they don't
anybody
have too good
to
damage,
take out
though.
Roche.
They
That's
don't
true.
have good damage on Roche.
There's no mortal strike, I believe it's called, on Wraith King as of yet. I mean, Darkseer's right click is very powerful, as we know, but that's just not
like
enough to take out Roche.
He's a boxer.
Right.
Awesome.
Darkseer with the mech.
Punch the rock.
BKB now. Uses the Ion Shell on Wraith King. I expect perhaps a Blink to come out from him next if he's able to find the farm. And looks like they're setting their eyes onto Whitebeard here in the top lane.
This is a really bold play, and he's not going to fall for it. There's too many heroes missing on the map.
So smart. Disruptor. He has 1,400 gold. What's he going for? Is he actually going to get that point booster into Ags right away?
He's going to get Blink Dagger. He does that every game.
Okay, so Blink first.
Yeah. And the reason Blink Dagger is good on Disruptor is mainly for aggressive purposes, that you can blink in and drop a good Static Storm, because else you need to get a little bit close at least to cast that. But with Blink, you see the opening, you just go immediately. It's also great for catching heroes with Glimpse, of course, and there is the defensive ability in it as well.
Another smoke wasted by Liquid is what that ends up being. And we haven't... What about SNA? Do they need to start smoking up? I feel like they have really good gank potential in this with this lineup. Nature's Prophet now has a Necro level 1, so like a split push into like a smoke gank or something like that.
I think they should have tried to use this DD on Tiny. This is like the best hero in the game to have a double damage on because
best
of his...
hero?
Yeah.
Because
of
Storm.
His double damage?
Yeah. Storm with double damage or regen.
Yeah,
like
he's really sick with double damage too, but the thing about Tiny is his base damage right now is 224, so the double damage actually gives him 224. It's absolutely insane, but I guess it wasn't the right time when it triggered for them to really go and use it, and his attack speed isn't that overwhelming right now, but he is getting good farm anyway, so maybe both teams are content to just farm. Liquid only got the 1 Midas though, since Dragon Knight went for the BKB, and I don't know who... It's kind of hard to say who benefits the most from this. Like, the graph is slightly dipping towards Liquid, but I think it's going to even out at some point with both Tiny and Prophet split pushing effectively. And Liquid without smokes are going to have a really hard time to gank, whereas SNA can initiate with a Nyx Assassin. They can glimpse to gank. I don't know. I feel like this is... you're okay with this right now if you're both teams, because it's pretty even. I think it's going to come down to when does a fight break out at Roshan.
Right. And Whitebeard... trying to be the MVP for SNA again. He has boots of speed and 1 branch, and he's going to have a Blink Dagger. He's pretty squishy. 800 health right now. Pretty much any hero can solo him, but his positioning is just out of this world, which is one of the main reasons that he's so good with Disruptor. We're going to see Koivka farming away. What does he have? He has the Yasha, the minus 2k on top of that. Does he actually finish the Manta here? I mean, Aghanim Scepter on Tiny, I feel like, just destroys these illusions.
This isn't really a good Manta game, because what can he really break with it? He can't break Demonic Purge, that stays on you. If he's in the Static Storm, the Manta won't allow him to leap. And actually, Koifa could be in trouble now. We have Fluff in a good position. Prophet is able to TP in, perhaps. I think Fluff is going to go for this.
Oh! Spidey senses tingling yet again. Koivka able to leap away.
If he stays there like half a second longer, I think he dies, so... Close call. But he does get away, and now SNA are rallying 3 heroes down here in the bottom lane. A little surprised to see Tiny and Nature's Prophet in the same lane. I feel like if you do this, you want to push the tower, and it looks like they will do that. But their Nyx Assassin is really far away, and so is Disruptor, so... Oh, it looks like Liquid's actually going to let them have it. Kind of surprising, but there's the Glyph. Maybe not, but they did force a good rotation here.
As we see about a 5k net worth difference between the two teams. Not crazy
Dragon Knight.
Tiny's able to get the tower, but here comes the initiation from TC with that newly picked up BKB. Disruption's going to save Tiny, at least for now. But he's stuck inside these illusions, and the vacuum's going to cancel his TP. He's going to continue to run away. They don't deal that much damage, but the Dragon Tail is going to be used to help finish him off. Fluff and Stuff's able to get out with that teleportation. Only able to get 1. Tower goes the way of Tiny. Took a lot to kill Tiny.
That's a victory for Sneaky Nyx Assassins by far here. He even bought his BKB before he died.
Oh, really? Okay.
So... I don't think that mattered, because he still had enough gold afterwards anyway, but this is, this BKB on Tiny is going to make him almost unkillable. You saw how hard it was for them already. And the majority of Liquid's damage right now is magical. The Dragon Knight and Mirana don't have significant physical damage yet. They did get the tower after all. Tiny got the last hit, and they're split pushing the top tier 1 as well. So if Liquid do get Roche here, I think the Roche for the tier 1 right now is still a good trade for Sneaky Nix. And actually, Demon could be in a lot of trouble right now. Mike coming in.
Goodbye. Another TP to follow, but again, 2 of their main cores are going for Roche right
Wraith
now.
King.
Sna's going to get stunned thanks to Wraith King. But here comes the Demonic Purge. But the Surge is going to cancel it. I'm sorry, the Demonic Purge comes now, so that was Soul Catcher applied to him.
He's out of mana.
He has no mana whatsoever thanks to these Necro Books. 3 levels, or 3 stacks of Shadow Poison on him as well, and the Glimpse will ensure the kill. Going
he got enough mana with the stick.
Assassins. Oh, he had a full one. Okay, then. Well,
nice
there's no backup here, really. They're still going for Roche.
Okay, that was a 2 billion cast range Sprout right there.
Well, SNA notices that this is why Liquid has no backup whatsoever, because they just got Roche.
Glimpse
somehow able to get out, but there's the Glimpse with the ridiculous range. Got to be the longest range in the game.
Whitebeard,
right
Dendi. There we go.
Blade Mail. I feel like he cast Blade Mail 3 times. That was so long. Was Roshan worth it if they're able to get out here?
I don't think so.
They were there for so long. That was a horrible.
Took them an eternity. They didn't even get a kill, did they? They lost. So Demon died. Way 2 died twice because he lost his ulti, and that is a level 2 ulti though, so not the end of the world, but still. He died twice. They got the tier 1 tower. They gave away Roche to a team. They put the Aegis onto Koikva, which I feel like this Aegis isn't going to be that useful, to be honest.
It's better than Dragon Knight, though.
If the fight breaks out, yeah, Dragon Knight is a pretty terrible Aegis carrier in most cases because he loses his transformation. Either if you put it on Dragon Knight, you try to bait out the Aegis so the enemy team focuses you before you use your ult, and then you use it on your second life.
Why would they, though, you know?
But then if you're not in ult, they can just ignore him, kind of, right? So really not the best of Aegis carriers. But I feel like Koikva with the Aegis, sure, he can play aggressively, but it's not gonna. I don't think that's gonna provide so much right now as map control does.
Haven't really seen Demon doing, like, the Fingrips just haven't been there. I mean, it's not to his fault. He's level 8.
It's also just a hard game. It's a lot to do with the pick, I feel.
I kind of agree with your earlier sentiment about the Bane pick being questionable right now. DD picked up by Ush. Going to transition himself to the bottom lane. The tier 2 perhaps is what he has his eyes on. And of course, with the Aghanim Scepter, going to be able to push these towers with ease. And even on top of that, Nature's Prophet can split push. So they have really good pushing potential. And Liquid, they have the farm. Do they have the heroes to stop this push?
I think that's a really good way of putting it. They have the farm, do they have the heroes? The combination with Darkseer, he's a great hero in his own right. The only AoE follow-up they have is Breathe Fire and Starstorm, which isn't too bad, but its only damage is no control. And the moment Sneaky Nix Assassins start getting these BKBs up, we do have the one on Ush. I'm assuming we'll see one on Prophet in the late game. The only really significant physical damage coming out of Liquid for the next quite long time is going to be actually absolutely no one, right? They don't have anything. The Manta and Mirana is kind of a transition item, which, yes, it does a bit of damage, but these illusions are just going to get wrecked. There's so much stuff on SNA to just kill them off. Like you said, the Tiny Aghanims, Toss, Avalanche, Static Storm, Stun from Nyx, Shadow Poison, Wrath of Nature. Like, every one of their heroes has illusion counters that just bring them down, so I think if you're SNA right now, you'd play this more aggressively. This is like the area you need to start getting into. Okay, am I drawing? Okay, this looks really weird on my screen. It looks like I'm drawing with 3 mice at once.
Looks like a potato.
Okay, it looks fine on the others, so that's good. You need to get into the dire jungle, start taking control of the map, get aggressive wards out, and enable your Nyx Assassin to get pickoffs.
Tiny getting closer to his I was going to say Aghanim Scepter. Of course, he already has it, the Assault Cuirass, so that's going to obviously help for pushing quite a bit. The Aura, how do you feel like the Aura works this game for them? The +5 armor the team gets. Is that, I mean,
for which team was that?
For SNA. You have Dragon Knight, Mirana right-clicking, but Mirana doesn't really right-click too hard until, like, extreme late game. It's more the arrow setup and the Moonlight Shadow initiation.
I think I mean,
obviously the -5 armor of the tower, I think, is the main point here.
Yeah, I think the plus armor for Sneaky Nix Assassins is actually more important than the minus armor they put onto Liquid, because it reduces the damage of the illusions from the Wall of Replica. It will keep them safe later on against the physical damage of Liquid. And I think the minus armor they can put onto Liquid with a Kiros here is, right now, the way SNA are playing these fights is way more heavily based on magical damage. Later on, of course, the minus armor is going to be good, but for now, the plus armor is kind of... I think of Vlad's right now for Sneaky Nix Assassins would be really, really good.
Oh, double damage on Ush. I think he'll be able to find
got purged.
Mirana. He gets purged. Here's the Impale. If Tiny can get close enough. Tiny's getting blocked by his own team, but it's not going to matter, apparently. Aegis is used. Static Storm as well. So that was kind of expensive. The grip was canceled pretty much right away. Disruption somehow used after the glimpse. That was really weird. Whitebeard taking a beating, but here comes TC right-clicking on SNA. But really, it's Ush versus the Dragon Knight we're looking at. And actually, Ush is getting dominated in this fight. So Liquid finally having good rotations in this engagement and able to take the minor victory, the 3-for-0.
Yeah, so as per usual, Syndra predictions, this Aegis is not going to be important. Gets Liquid 3 kills and keeps Koikva alive. So great prediction again, Syndra. You're amazing. You're a great analyst. Well done.
It's okay. It's okay, buddy.
I think the reason this worked out so well was that SNA actually overcommitted on that kill. They used too many abilities. It wasn't that it was bad going for it, but the Static Storm shouldn't have been used. He already used Leap. He already used Manta. There was no need for it. They could have killed him with just the Avalanche Toss alone, and then if Liquid choose to reinforce, you drop a Static Storm in that perfect area.
Yep. So Slight, well, I shouldn't say Slight. That was a pretty big misplay from
That was a
Whitebeard.
big misplay, to be honest.
Something you don't see too often from him.
Yeah, he's usually really solid. And the reason this is this worked out, I mean, the most surprising thing about this fight, to be honest, is even with that misplay, Demon had a half a second grip in that fight.
What's the longest grip he's had this game? I feel like still half a
second. He had a half-second grip, and it didn't matter.
Right.
They still got the kill on the guy, and I
that
guess
bodes well for them.
I guess what he accomplished was that he got Whitebeard to glimpse him, but he actually canceled the grip himself.
Did you see the disruption into the glimpse? The disruption was seriously like 1,000 range. That was crazy looking, but so yeah, without the grip, they're still able to take that out. Now, I want to look at Wraith King. He has, wait, not Wraith King. I'm sorry. Who was it? Oh, it's Dragon Knight. That's right. Hyperstone. I know he's probably going for Assault Cuirass here, but I feel like Mjolnir is actually pretty good. Obviously, the magic damage isn't going to apply to Tiny, but looking at the rest of SNA heroes, they're relatively squishy. What do you think about that?
Mjolnir is really good here. It's kind of a toss-up between where they want to focus their... Like, what do they want to focus on for now? I'm not sure what they're thinking, right? But if they're thinking late game, I would say get the Cuirass now and focus a bit more on that. If they get the Mjolnir now, that's like a... Wow, that looks really
good. No, go zoom in on his face again. I can't remember if it's an underbite or an overbite, but whatever it is, it's enormous.
And now the dragon testicles. Come on.
That's an underbite.
Got him. Yep. Nope, nothing. Thanks for trying, gods.
He was castrated as a young child. It's no big deal. It happens to the best of us, but he's a freaking dragon, so what does it matter anymore? You know, he parades anywhere he wants, man.
Yeah, it looks really majestic though. I like this.
Look at
If you don't know, if you just take this out of context, this looks like a gargoyle.
Actually, it kind of looks like Jay Leno in dragon form, to be perfectly honest. Look at that chin. My goodness. And for a second, I thought that was his penis, but of course it's just his tail. But he probably could use it as such if he wanted. I'm sure that's how they reproduce anyway. But not exactly. I'm not a big fantasy guy, or at least not back in the day. So I don't know the history with dragons. I'm not sure how they mate. But I know that they're struggling to stay alive these days.
You sound like the kind of guy who would frequent reddit.com/r/dragonsfuckingcars.
No comment.
Which I, by the way, don't frequent, but I did check it out, because you have to, right? When you see that link, you have to click that.
That's actually real?
Yes.
Seriously?
I don't frequent it. Take my word for it. Nobody's going to believe that, right? No.
Oh, Shadow Demon has the gem. I didn't even realize that. So this is actually pretty crucial. If they can get somewhat map control, which right now there's only really 2 wards on the map. That's I think that one of them is a sentry. It's like nothing.
Yeah, right.
Did he just blink?
Huh?
Shadow Demon just blinked. That's legit. He doesn't even have eyelids. How does he blink? This is game breaking. Volvo need to fix this immediately. Looks like Assault Cuirass is going to be the choice for Dragon Knight.
Yeah, this tier 2 tower is probably not going to fall. I think they're going to be forced back by this glyph, but they're doing some significant damage. Actually, TC is committing kind of hard to this. He doesn't have BKB ready, but yeah, they're not going in. Is Koikva going to finish this off? Oh, the glimpse!
Oh,
is not
kinetic field! Not going to be enough.
Actually, Koikva's in a kind of a really bad position right now.
Pings are going out. I'm not sure who's pinging. I think that is Demon making fun of Koikva.
If they get some sort of vision here, if someone runs up that cliff, which Mike is doing right now, Koikva's... Oh my god. That's a pretty close call right there.
And Ike's Mike's going to pursue his prey with the Vendetta blink, and now Vendetta's on cooldown for 60 seconds. Oh, he actually get the glimpse off? Are you serious? Koivka stuck in the Static Storm and Kinetic Field, and Tiny's there to finish him off. That is redonkulous. They had vision. There's a ward right there. Oh my god. That's insane. Whitebeard, you are a beast of burden, good sir.
No Manta's going to save you from that.
Good
They
god.
really...
And now it's, I guess it's still a 7k. Okay, it just changed. Oh, okay, actually it's changing on the fly. This is legit. This is legit, bro. It's a 7k net worth lead for Liquid, so it's gone up by 2 since the last time we looked. This tower is
there is buyback on
taking out
Qualifier.
4
I
hits.
think they might try to force that, and that could be a big mistake coming out from Sneaky Nix. The big player so far for me in this game for Liquid is Bulba with these team fights. He gets the vacuum walls right every time, and if they overcommit here, they could be in a lot of trouble. Qualifier still holding his buyback. They're doing really good damage on this tower, actually.
Oh, Dragon Tail. Is the buyback going to come now? They know Moonlight Shadow's down, so even though if Mirana comes back, I'm not sure if it's going to be up by that time. Doesn't look like the buyback's going to come out.
They got 4/5 of that tower.
You think he should have bought back, or they should have initiated as Liquid?
I don't know, it's kind of a tricky situation. You don't really want to buy back your Mirana at this point when he has so low time back on his...
Yeah, and now he has a BKB.
Yeah, so that's probably the reasoning. He can't get glimpsed anymore with the BKB. He can pop that and play safe. But of course, the nice thing for Glimpse is still you can force out those BKB charges if you catch them around the map and get that to be less useful later on. This is a really dead-even game. It's good to see because a lot of the games in this qualifier have been really one-sided.
Right.
But this
once
seems
you
like
get
a
to
good
this stage,
matchup
I
for both
feel like
teams.
that's going to be pretty common.
Yeah. But I was still saying with pretty much confidence that Liquid was going to win this 2-0. I wasn't expecting close. I was expecting close games, but this is really, really close. And I love the aggression from Sneaky Nix Assassins. Immediately going top lane.
Oh, TP canceled.
Yeah,
Who
he was going to
that?
get glimpsed. So.
That's true. That is a true point. So this is a free tier 2
gone.
again.
Oh, it was Koikva's TP actually. It was. He can't get back.
Koikva had the BKB, so he didn't even need to cancel that. But he's going to continue to push bot lane, apparently.
He can't get back. If they go for this, it's going to be a 5-on-4.
Do they know it's his TP, though?
He's starting to cross the map now. I'm
He's
wondering
just going to
if
jungle.
they might go and try to snipe the tier 3 mid, but TC's in position with an invis rune.
He has
There's
no
a
dragon
Necro 3.
form, though.
Necro 3.
No dragon form whatsoever. He's in melee frames. Pretty much used. He's going to pop his BKB. There's a beautiful vacuum into the wall. Nyx Assassin falling out with that spike carapace. BKB still applied to TC. Nice 4-step on the Ush. Pops his BKB in turn. Seeing the Demonic Purge on TC can barely even catch up to Ix. Mike, who's in all likelihood dead. But here we see the Kinetic Field doing absolutely nothing to the Koifuk because of his BKB. Sprout, very nice positioning, forcing the Cuddly Panther to reroute his options. But Ush, goodbye. Nice glimpse. Actually, it's gonna help out Koifka. But
Yeah,
all in all, they did get the range racks with the Necronomicons, but wasn't the worst thing for SNA, honestly.
No, they got. Was that their
But then
only
again,
casualty?
There was no dragon form, so I feel like maybe
They got one casualty. They forced 2 BKBs,
Right.
3 BKBs to be used actually by Liquid.
they have 3.
Yeah, there's one on Darkseer, one on
Oh, that's
Ron,
right.
and
I
one on
forgot about
Dragon Knight.
Darkseer. Yeah. Okay.
I think if you're Sneaky Nix Assassins, you're happy with that. They seem to be doing a really good job at not losing too many heroes when they get disadvantage.
I thought Dragon Knight
in
had
fights.
his assault.
Arrow? Oh,
Where is it?
that did not see SNA, I think. Or it did. Koik was going in.
Koifka.
How the hell is he going to get this kill?
Koifka. No. You'd think the Panther has better like senses than that. Does he have like no sense of smell? I feel like that should be a skill for Mirana. Anybody that has a mount that I don't know. I'm just all over the place today. Yeah, getting another close up. Let's see the face. There's no nose on that freaking Panther.
Kind of.
Well, it's not a panther. What is it? It's like a tiger?
I
I don't know what it is.
feel like that could use a little bit more detail. Looks a little flat, doesn't it?
You know what's funny is after all the polishing that Valve's done, the leap, which is like the first complaint that people had, is still there. Like the animation is still this static, awful, just, it's like 3, what am I trying to think? It's like 3 frames used to get that leap in motion, but I guess that's become part of Dota 2, and we all love it now.
So, Roshan
is
probably...
up.
I think it's not one to fight for this, I think. They actually have a pretty good initiation with the Blink Dagger on Mike and, of course, the Disruptor. If they can get a good initiation angle here, that could be huge. I feel like they're making a mistake giving this away because they have a chance of fighting it. Here we go, Shadow Poison. We'll scout out the state of affairs.
Roshan getting quite low. Doesn't look like SNA cares, though.
They're
just
giving
it
it.
up.
Well, Darkseer is amazing in the pit in his own right.
All right,
but
what do you think about this? Just theory crafting here a bit. I don't think we're going to have a fight. So Wraith King got the... He's going to be getting the Mjolnir. Dragon Knight went the Assault. Do you feel like they should have swapped those? Does Dragon Knight really need that extra armor? Like, it
that's
just
a good
falls off
question.
after a certain point, you know? Like, it's diminishing returns, as opposed to Wraith Knight, or Wraith King. God damn it, Cinder.
God damn it,
He's done with
Zyori.
me. Yeah, Zyori started it all. That's true. Oh, TC's going to get initiated on Pale, Kinetic Field, Static Storm. He's not going to be able to get anything off. Goes down right off the bat. The question is, does he have buyback? Way 2 getting extremely low. Beautiful wall and vacuum. BKB applied to Bulba as he's running around with his Tail between his legs. Wave 2 is going to get out. Of course, his ultimate is still
not
up.
have enough. He does have enough mana.
Yeah,
oh my god! But if the melee, if that one hit, why did he move it? He just needed to hit him
You
once.
need to be a coach, Syndran. This
Oh my
melee Rax
goodness.
is going to go down. Is there a buyback for Dragon Knight or not?
No.
What is this? Okay, they don't. Ush pops the BKB. This is the free Rax. So all they have to do is pick off TC without buyback, and they get a Rax.
All they had to do was.
Not too
Well, that
shabby.
was easy.
It did look pretty easy.
I think that fight could have gone differently if Bulba used his abilities in the opposite order. He blinked in, he used vacuum, and then he used wall, and they were actually all so clustered together that he could use the wall first and then get 5 illusions, and that would have probably forced them away so they couldn't end up going for this barracks, but I think he only got one guy into the wall, which...
Really? It looked like a really good combo.
The vacuum was
I'd have to see it
amazing,
again.
but the wall was kind of lackluster.
I
and
see.
It's really surprising for me for a player like Bulba, who's generally amazing on this hero, and most of the time will wall into vac and not the other way around, but a little bit of a misplay there. Still, at least it wasn't an absolute disaster. They lost one hero, they lost the melee Rax, but it's kind of an ill omen of things to come. If TC gets caught again, I think it's another lane they lose.
Yeah. Well, one Rax right now isn't the hugest deal, so it's not like... I mean, obviously, SNA's come back a little bit now, but this is still a pretty even game, I feel like. And you're right. TC just got picked off. The gem is still on Fluff and stuff. He hasn't died since he picked up this gem, which is pretty impressive.
He hasn't died at all.
He's 3-0. Wow. That's pretty insane.
He's positioning himself very well, which is... Like, if you can choose 2 traits to have as a player on Shadow Demon, like, if you could choose 2 things that are the most important, it's positioning, and it's clutch timing, like on the disruption. If you get good disruptions and you don't get caught, this hero is absolutely amazing. Even disregarding Demonic Purge entirely, disruption is one of the best late game skills in the game, and it's not even an ultimate.
Can we click
so
on
huge.
the disruptor?
Oh boy, here we go.
Whitebeard.
Here we go again. Oh, I thought
Okay.
you wanted to see
Damn.
his aesthetics.
Okay, I was going to say, if he's actually able to pick up an Aghanim Scepter, they could kill Dragon Knight every
Do you feel like you
single
could
time.
ship the raptor he's riding on with Dragon Knight in dragon form?
I don't know. You can mate them together,
Yeah.
perhaps.
What do you get? How cool would Dragon Raptor be?
Dragon
Think
Raptor?
about it.
A Raptagon?
That sounds like it's some sort of...
I feel like they'd have the shortest arms ever. Like, they wouldn't even be able to, like, fondle themselves or anything. Anywho.
And
moving
what
on.
kind of life would that be?
Well,
right?
you're being sarcastic, but it's true.
Yeah, okay.
Disruptor, though, what do you feel about if he actually is able to get Aghanim Scepter, which right now he's not farming very well, but you can get Dragon Knight every single time. You can't pop BKB. What do you do with Dragon Knight in that scenario?
He has to pre-pop it then. That's the... I think if you're...
Pre-pop it?
Pop. If you're smart with Dragon Knight here, maybe a Blink Dagger might not be out of the question, so that he has a way of BKB blinking into the fight if he's starting to get worried about the Disruptor's ult, of course. Because it's going to be... The thing about Ag Static Storm is that it doesn't matter if the target isn't BKB and you put it on him, then it's still useless. If you catch him before, he can't even BKB. So positioning for TC is going to be absolutely crucial, and maybe a Blink Dagger can help him, because else he's going to have to pre-pop the BKB from far away. Then he's
What
going to
about-
use like half the duration on running in, and then afterwards he's just going to get caught.
How
in
about
stacks.
this theory crafting? Even though Aghanim Scepter is not even close for Disruptor right now. Let's say he gets it. Nature's Prophet gets a Blink Dagger. Blink Hex, Blink Disruptor ult.
Yeah, that's a kill. There's
Every single time it's a kill.
unless Bulba is there with a really clutch surge, he's dead.
Right.
That's just going to be an ultimate.
Yeah, the kinetic
kill combo.
field is going to be a little bit harder. Like,
Yeah.
when you get Blink Dagger, it's a little bit harder to pull off that way, but...
That's still going to be a devastating
theory's
combo.
still
I would look forward to Nyx playing that if they do manage to get the Ag Scepter on the Disruptor. Actually, Daedalus recipe on the Courier, so we're 1,000 gold away from Ush getting the Daedalus here.
Dirty.
And his attack speed, just having Treads and Kiros is actually enough right now. You can see how quickly he's attacking. He's going to get more attack speed now by getting more points into stats, of course. He gets 2% per level with the agility.
Oh. Glimpse
We're
sheep.
seeing the Hex. Absolutely no follow-up, though. And that means it's a Hex on cooldown. That's kind of a big deal. Glimpse. Or, what?
Surge. It's a surge.
It was a kinetic field I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
I'm good at this game. Okay. Are we going to see Liquid try to push this now? Dragon Form, of course, is available level 3 since a while ago. And that slow shouldn't be underestimated. It goes through BKB. So it's a way of kiting the Tiny around. But I still feel like just his raw range and the Demonic Purge to keep an enemy in place and the Glimpse to pull them back is going to be enough. Even when Tiny is slowed, I still feel like he's going to have targets to hit.
Liquid's gonna steal the Ancients. Oh my goodness. I
How
think
are
that
they
was a double
10,000
stack.
experience ahead? and
Ooh, there's a smoke.
1,000 gold. That's kind of interesting.
Net worth is pretty freaking close though, so that's more evident to how the game's going right now. I feel.
The experience isn't that big of a deal
SNA,
compared.
thinking that he might be getting ganked here, waiting in the.
And this is going to be an unused Aegis. Koikva, it's expiring now. Liquid are really hesitant. They're worried about committing to fights.
We saw this the other day.
Yeah, but
right?
in this game, I feel like it's justified because right now this game is so close. It's really important. It's not one of those games where Liquid are leading by like 15,000 gold and could just go and end the game. But at the same time, you just feel like you should at least try to use the Aegis, get one fight. Like last time they used it, they got 3 kills for free. So I'm a little surprised they don't try to do it again. Bait Koikva out. Let the enemies use crucial abilities on him, and then maybe try to turn around.
Nature's Prophet.
Okay.
Trying to find somebody. TC's actually.
They're all rallying here.
Wow, Demon's actually just waiting in the wings.
Actually, just being Demon.
Trying to get his first ult off. TC's gonna pop his BKB. SNA getting 4 staff, but he's already at half HP. Pops to the BKB as well. But the leap continues. The right clicks are gonna take him out. And the question is,
there's
SNA
no
gonna fall
buyback.
back.
Arrow on
Arrow's
Mike.
gonna hit IX Mike. Nice Zoni connect field along with a static storm. Gonna keep TC and Koifka in place for now. Soul Cash. Look how much damage TC's gonna go down.
He's gonna die.
I don't believe it. Even with the BKB. Whitebeard on the run. Gonna get Wraith fired, blasted. And the toss continues from Ush. It's a 2-for-1.
I think Ush can almost turn and fight at this point.
Oh
all the BKBs are on cooldown.
No, they're falling back, it looks like.
Oh,
The
Demon.
Avalanche is
Demon
there,
still has
though.
grip.
Okay. Demon still hasn't used that grip. Toss is incoming. Demon's.
Oh, Jukes! What? And meanwhile, Fluff gets caught on. That's a gem.
Poor guy. At this point, they could buy another one, though. It's been long enough. And mid's actually pushed in quite a bit. Tier 3's taking a little bit of damage. Fortification is forced. Teamfight recap. About 3,300 net worth change for Liquid.
I think it benefits Liquid more when the fights start out like this. Like a little bit spread out so they can use Dragon Tail. Dragon Knight can pop his BKB. I feel like he can do it more confidently than the heroes on Sneaky Nyx Assassins.
What's his BKB at right now?
I think it's like on 4. No, it's 5, I meant. It's on 6. Okay.
6?
So
okay.
that one is still dropping down. But the thing
4,
is...
no 5, no 6.
Whatever. God damn it, you threw me off. Say something.
So I'm just listening to Conrad and Brian laugh in the background because, you know, it's enjoyable to listen to. Ush. Actually, I'm sorry, Nature's Prophet. God, he's getting stacked here. Still has that Midas. He's going to probably replace that with something here. Actually, Boots of Travel will be pretty decent just for split pushing purposes, but I still think you get some damage here. Maybe Daedalus himself, perhaps? And Vlad's now picked up by Shadow Demon. What do you think Nature's Prophet goes for next?
This is kind of a hard decision to make now. I think the BKB was the right choice to get, but now since I would say it's okay, Fluff has the Vlads. That's really good because someone on their team needs to get a Vlads for this tiny, and Fluff has it. So that could have been a choice for Prophet, but I think he should aim bigger anyway. Daedalus is an okay choice here, just getting more raw damage, but else. Well, what else would he really get? Deso is perhaps a little more cost-effective right now because Tiny's hitting so damn hard, so the minus armor is going to be great.
Yep.
Since Tiny has the Kiros, there's no need for that. He could also just get the Mjolnir here on the Prophet. I still think it's a good choice, but
well, now that
Liquid's
the
BKBs are dropping down,
yeah,
so
exactly.
Mjolnir is getting
magic damage is
much and
typically
much
better
stronger.
than physical against Dragon Knight anyway, especially with that extra armor he picked up from the Assault.
Koikva?
He's going to miss. Ush has the
That's a good scouting arrow right
haste
there.
rune, but isn't able to find the Marana. And actually, he better be careful here.
Way too. Just thinking about it. He has the gem. Okay, they're getting the hell out of there. Kinetic field dropped. And
I
the split
expect Wraith
push will
King to get
commence.
Blink next. I would be shocked if it's not a Blink coming up here for Way 2.
I think that's a really good choice. Alternatively, do they have a Vlads on that side? Because even though their carries are ranged, of course when Dragon Knight is in range form, it's still a really cheap way of getting damage and armor for your team. And when you're getting, the longer the game goes, I feel like the better the Vlads gets for supports. In some games you want to get it on your cores early on because they benefit in pushing the lanes, you get the lifesteal for yourself, etc. But just the percentage damage and the way armor works in... Armor and physical damage become the 2 most important stats when the game goes beyond 40 minutes. Those 2 and then control through Hex and through silences, right? So, Vlad's is a really cost-effective item. I think we're going to see that actually coming out for the Wraith King.
Oh, SNA's getting picked off here. There's no way out. Uses his ult just for a little bit of gold.
That's a huge kill. And meanwhile, Demon will be TPing out. TPing to the bottom lane. The thing is, these pickoffs for Liquid don't really... They bring them a bit of golden experience, but it's not going to give them any sort of collateral at this point. All their lanes are getting pushed in. Prophet actually does not have buyback. He's 20 gold short.
Oh, wow.
And Roshan is up, but I don't think Liquid are in a position right now to take Rosh. They have to defend the top lane. They have to push out the mid lane first, and then Prophet's probably going to be back. 45 seconds on his respawn right now.
Well, this is a very close game. SNA needs a second Rax, though, to feel comfortable, I feel like. Or maybe even a Rosh. Rosh is going to be a little bit more difficult against Liquid, considering they have the dire advantage, but... And actually, Liquid could take this pretty quick if they wanted, with this lifesteal. All this damage now that they didn't have before. Impale's going to find him, Soulcatcher as well, Blink out from IX Mike. Demonic Purge applied to Way 2, who
Arrow?
is getting lower and lower on mana. Arrow actually is going to hit, but the spike carapace is there. Of course, the stun effect is still going to apply. Blade Mail on Way 2. IX Mike getting disrupted defensively. SNA is finally here. Must have bought back, I assume. He did. Pops his BKB, all for naught though. Really didn't avoid any damage.
TC's in a horrible position right now. The Sprout misses.
Nothing. It's on the Necro Books. There's the wall, the vacuum, BKB, but finally a Fiend's Grip coming out, but it's really not doing any damage. Does a little bit of mana burn. 2 dead for Liquid as the buyback comes from Way 2.
Oh, nice
Manta. One more last hit from Ush. Ush is just dominating these teamfights. Triple kill for him, and he's going to continue to apply pressure. Not quite able to get...
Glimpse.
Oh my god, the glimpse again.
Oh!
Blink out immediately, though. Very nicely done from Bulba. He's
Legit.
very low. Buybacks galore from Liquid. I feel like SNA needs to get back now.
They bought back 3. Holy shit. Okay, they're going to get Rosh for that. That's still really, really expensive. And that Daedalus for Ush just doing work. He got like 2 of those 1,100 crits with the cleave.
Boots of travel on Tiny, though.
Yeah. This is a... I feel like this rebuy was a good choice, but maybe they didn't need to rebuy all 3 of them, but securing an Aegis and Cheese right now is really important. Still, 6,500 net worth sacrificed by Liquid. And even with the buyback from the Prophet, which is also considered in this equation, they gained 8,000 gold raw right there.
Right.
They pay an Aegis and a Cheese for it. I think it's worth it for SNA.
Yeah, agreed. Of course, Cheese is now there, so Mirana's actually be the one to take the Aegis and Dragon Knight with the Cheese.
And now it's just, see, this is where this graph becomes really interesting, because the net worth right now is 2,500 in the favor of SNA, but the gold graph says it's 5,000 in the favor of Liquid. That's because this doesn't count
buybacks.
Doesn't count buyback, and it doesn't count gold lost when you die. This is just raw gold earned. So this is really, really interesting. There's a 7.5k difference between the graphs right now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is...
the graph can be quite misleading.
It can be very, very misleading. So this is a really sweet feature to have. So SNA is actually leading on gold right now.
What's the Aghanim Scepter watch on Disruptor now? I really need to see.
He is 2k off, I think. Yeah.
2k? Okay.
And Fluff is going to get a Ghost Scepter to go with his incredibly green inventory, if I may say so myself.
Oh my, you're right.
Double gem, Vlad's, Urn, and Tranquils. He is...
Oh, they got the gem back. That's right. So now they have 2 gems.
I kind of feel like if you had a hero who needed to roleplay kind of the green guy, Shadow Demon would not be your choice.
I feel like that shade of green doesn't fit, though. I think Ethereal Blade is greener, right?
Yeah.
I think he needs to upgrade that to fully...
I think he needs to sell his 4 staff and get a 3rd gem. Then he's pretty... then he's full inventory. Full stack green guy.
It would be good if you only lost 1 gem upon death and not all of them.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting thing, but...
That's true.
Gems are already OP as it is, so I don't think that's necessary.
So, what are we looking at for Liquid? They did get the Aegis again on the Mirana. The Cheese is now on Dragon Knight, who's a pretty good Cheese carrier. It's since he generally doesn't get burst down, so you do get time to use the Cheese at a reasonable timing. And he has the HP pool to almost use the full effect of the Cheese. It heals 2,500, he's got 2,012 HP. This all comes down to right now, if SNA gets a good fight, the game is just over. Because there's 3 cores on Liquid that can't buy back, or 2 cores and a Bane, I believe.
But you're going up against an Aegis and a Cheese, so it's still risky.
So it's going to be a really hard fight. But if they pull that off, the game's just flat out over.
Do they feel... we talked about the late game already. Do you think SNA feels comfortable in the late game here? Is Koifka's going to find IX Mike, but the blink is there.
Actually following through, Arrow.
IX Mike just playing
almost
fire.
like he wanted that one.
But yeah, they're going to go along with the smoke.
And Whitebeard in a little bit of an awkward position here. But they're not even going to check there. So I think right now, as long as SNA is on the Liquid side of the map in all 3 lanes, even if they lose a fight, they're not even going to lose barracks. It's going to take Liquid too long to cross the map. They have Boots of Travel on Koikva as the only hero, I believe. Yeah. It's...
I'm surprised this tier 2 is still standing in bot.
Yeah, they could have probably got that at some point, but obviously need the right lane position for it. I think the main reason that tower has been defended is that the last 2 times we've had fights breaking out, it's been like down here. Wow, that was a nice circle I drew there. I drew an ear.
Moonlight Shadow, interesting usage. I'm not sure what that is. He actually might get surrounded here, but leaps out just in time. Oh, there's the sheep from the 4-step, but they're not able to capture the piggy. What is he, 160 move speed now with the sheep stick?
140,
like
I think.
140, so
140.
I'm not sure if that actually made a difference there, but gets out nonetheless. Necro units are used as well, so that's another cooldown to keep in mind. So I guess perhaps the Moonlight Shadow wasn't that big of a waste.
And again, the split push will commence here. So I'm really curious to see where SNA goes here, the player. Like you said, there are a couple of item choices like Daedalus.
SNA the player.
The Desolator. I think he still has 2 item slots because he will be selling the 4-staff at some point and get something else. So, but he's probably going to sell the Midas first. I'm assuming he will go raw damage.
You think he'll sell the 4-staff eventually? I feel like it's still really good.
It is, but he's going to need to carry later on together with Tiny. Tiny's pretty much full stacked right now. He can sell his treads and get I would say a butterfly would be really good now. It's great attack speed, gives good armor. The evasion against 0 MKBs. Oh, there's an MKB on Arana.
What about
Pardon
Manta?
Me. Still good. I still
if you're going to give up your treads, you got to get attack speed of some sort. So either one, I feel like would be good.
Most of the time, it's actually core to get Butterfly late game on Tiny. It's just so good on him. But we're going to see. Oh, actually, the 4-staff from SNA does create a bit of space here. BKB used by TC. And Way2 could be running out of mana here. There's another mana burn.
Oh my God, Way2! If you go down, you are dead for a long time, good sir. There's the toss. Avalanche combination. TC uses the cheese. Kinetic Field's not able to follow him. BKB's galore again.
Good grip.
Grip finally being used to full effect, but there's the Shadow Demon with the disruption, canceling it pretty much after 3 or 4 seconds, but Tiny's dead, and this means SNA needs to get the hell out. Glimpse back. So the only one pursuing them is Bulba with the Ion Shell. It's going to be enough to take out Whitebeard. Fluff and Stuff, not sure what he's doing, but he's going to die in all likelihood. Way2 did not go down in that engagement, surprisingly enough, despite having no mana. And yeah, Fluff and Stuff, the Ghost Scepter will not save you here. IX Mike doesn't even have mana for TP. Now he does.
They're kiting the Tiny really well. That's kind of the story right now of every single fight, and why it's going to be important for Prophet to get some more damage. And he also needs to not be the one getting caught out every single time.
The cheese was huge.
And the cheese, of course, yeah. So they did manage to take that down, but 4 kills for that, Liquid are going to be more than happy with that. Of course, if they want to take this late, which they already have it, but even later, they're the Dire, they could get another Aegis.
SNA's window is when the Aegis goes down now.
Yeah.
Cheese, obviously...
I don't think Liquid will go high ground, to be honest. I think they're going to take the tier 2 and go back.
Yeah, I think you're right. IX Mike is there.
That mana burn 670.
Pretty sick. Does Way2 have enough mana for his reincarnate yet?
Yeah.
He's gonna get
mana burn on Bulba again. That's just.
Okay. Well,
we didn't talk too much about that in the draft, but Nick's late game with level 4 mana burn against Darkseer, against Bane, and against the Wraith King is going to be really, really good.
Yeah, late game. For sure. Yeah, it scales very well. Better, later the game gets, the better it gets. Mirana, Aegis now gone as Gods is pointing to the inventory. And they have to wait for another Aegis before they can really do anything. And this is when SNA needs to start pushing. Because do you think that fight would have gone a lot different if there was no cheese? Like, how much difference did it actually make?
I don't know.
Dragon Knight was dead 100% without the cheese.
Yeah, but I feel like he kind of already did what
They used all their
spells.
The
major part of his impact on the fight was already before he used the cheese, I think. He got the initiation, they got good pressure on the Prophet. He took a lot of focus, of course, which is something that shouldn't be underestimated. I mean, sure, you bring down the Dragon Knight, but how much are you actually going to use for it?
Right.
And at the end of the day, the way the farm is distributed in SNA right now, if Tiny does not have a high impact in the fight, they're just not winning it. Late game Darkseer, Bulba is having a really easy time getting vacuum walls off all the time because they don't have 2 good counters to him. I think right now it comes down to who got that halberd?
Wraith Knight. Earth King. God damn it.
Shout out to Zyori.
Every time he's getting a lot of shoutouts today. That's gonna be really good against Nature's Prophet. Does Nature's Prophet have a BKB? I don't think so.
If Prophet has
does
BKB?
have BKB. Okay,
he's used it 3 times.
Whatever.
You are amazing.
It's early. It's like 2 a.m. here, right? That's my excuse. Nobody knows where we actually live, so it's 2 a.m. It's fine. It's fine. Mjolnir. So that's 2 Mjolnirs on the side of Liquid. And of course, with the BKBs getting lower and lower, going to have more effect as the game goes on.
I don't know if I think... This wasn't the best pickup for Koiko, I feel. I think a Butterfly or just straight out Daedalus would have been a better choice in this case. But
2 Halberds, 2 Mjolnirs. They're just
Halberd's so damn good against Tiny. So he's got a 5-second duration BKB now. He's going to have to buy a new one. And he's going for... It looks like he's going to get a Satanic, which... I get where he's coming from, but I think the problem is he's still just going to get kited. So that item won't be doing so much after all, I feel. But we're going to see if he puts it to good use. Of course, he can buy some more time with it if he gets to hit something that's not an illusion, which is no guarantee either. I mean, at some points he might just be hitting the illusions of Bulba because he can't reach anything else and you can't lifesteal off those. This is such a tense situation right now.
Well, he definitely wants to save for buyback. Has enough for the Satanic, but still needs to farm up a bit more. Disruptor, almost there, Synderen. We're almost there.
That could just flat out win the game.
It could, but
A
the
good,
items are trying to rack up big time for Liquid too.
a good play from Whitebeard where he catches 2 of the crucial heroes in a Static Storm before they can BKB or something like that could win the game.
So Fluff died.
Okay.
Took like a
He actually had a
200
gem.
range arrow to the face.
He had a gem, which he gave to Qualifier. And Qualifier has a DD. He's on the hunt here for Whitebeard. Nope. Oh, maybe. Is he going to go for this? Arrow?
Oh,
Blinks across it!
Oh, what a play, but he's gonna just die. So
That's
it doesn't
still
really
a really,
matter.
really good
But
trade.
he ends up trading his life. He went down so fast. I was pretty shocked, I'm not gonna lie. Either way, it's a great trade. Does he have buyback?
Yes.
Okay, so they're gonna force the buyback here.
Yeah, he has 110 second
point.
respawn time. But maybe they can actually hold without him, because it's a 4v3 after all.
And we'll see.
Yeah.
But it's without one of the major right clickers. And Disruptor, though,
Force
been
staff's
huge
being
for him
used,
overall.
Blink's being used.
Bubble not able to find anybody, and
Ush.
he has his boots
He
of travel.
will get out.
Alrighty. So it ends up not mattering a whole lot.
It's still 2 minutes on the sideline where Koikva doesn't farm. I
Right.
think that shouldn't be underestimated. If he doesn't, if he buys back, he can't farm anyway. So this is kind of huge because it means Tiny will be getting his full inventory and Koikva will not have any item progression. He has an item slot remaining with 4k gold in the bank. If he doesn't die there, he has a full inventory in the next fight. Maybe now he doesn't.
Satanic complete on Tiny now.
Yeah.
Just needs to be delivered.
He needs a new BKB now.
next.
New
Yeah,
BKB
for sure.
for sure.
For sure, Synderen.
And then now, if you're Ush, you actually have a choice as for his last item. Oh, Demon way out of
Demonic
position.
Purge. Bulba's here though. Actually, there goes SNA. Is not able to.
Buyback from Koikva as well.
The sheep stick. Free gem on the deck.
Wow.
How much time was left on the cooldown of the?
Of the buyback?
Yeah.
I think like 45 seconds or something. So, oh, good arrow. That buyback was just.
Well, Roshan's gonna be up.
That could
Very
be.
soon.
That cost him 2,000 gold and it did nothing. That's so huge because Bulba was actually away from that and they couldn't fight with his buyback anyway.
Oh,
Little bit
Roshan,
of a
you're so
panic
close.
call.
You're so close.
Arrow.
Arrow's
again.
gonna give him a little bit of vision.
Oh god, this is so.
This is very tense.
There is
30
a
seconds without
buyback
Bane.
on Demon right now, but
Okay,
he's gonna have
there's-
to use
there's
all
Rush.
his gold for it. Damn, he doesn't have anything by the way. He's got a net worth of 4,000. He's
They
got
know he's up. Liquid
75
doesn't know,
net
though.
worth per minute on this Bane in
If
this
they
game.
can steal this, this is pretty huge. But then again, they're putting themselves in a god-awful spot. Here comes the arrow. It's going to scout him out. It's going to hit a tree ant, but they know what's up. Bane's still down for another 10 seconds. There's the buyback, and this is going to force SNA out.
Allies disappear.
But the Necro books are there, so I'm going to see them pretty easily. Actually going to catch out way too, but of course he has his ultimate. In all likelihood, he's going to stay alive. Nick's getting, I should say, Ush getting force-staffed out. My goodness.
He lost all his mana.
One trade. You're right. He somehow, the Necro books are so strong. BKB doing nothing for Ush. And I believe he was halberded as well, as he's going to continue to try to run away. BKB upon Bulba. There's the vacuum wall combination. And Koifka, I'm so used to seeing TC on Mirana, but Koifka running away with all his might.
Oh, if he dies now, he has no buyback.
He has no buyback. 10 seconds still on Avalanche. Not sure if he's going to be able to catch up without help.
3 seconds on toss.
Wraith King
Halberd
bought
again.
back. Ush again getting halberded. And there's the Fiend's Grip, but the Force Staff's going to put him out of range for the auto attacks for the most part. Koifka still very low. Ush gets a nice Avalanche, but he's going to go down one way or another. Disruption again saving him, but I do believe it's going to prevent the inevitable. And oh my god, is that a 2-man Sprout? He's not going to be able to get a kill though. SNA not doing enough damage, not having enough survivability. Ush bought back, I believe. If he gets picked off here, this might be GG. Although the pushing potential not as good as SNA, obviously, and Ush. Arrow, Starstorm, right clicks, dead.
Oh my god.
That's your...
I think SNA just shot themselves so hard in the foot by buying back. That fight was actually okay for them until Prophet bought back, came in and died, and Tiny bought back. They could have cut their losses there. They did kill Way2, who bought back in that fight. They did some significant damage. I think there was the buyback from Demon before the fight as well. They did get a couple of kills. Now they've just opened the map for 1.5 minutes. This could be the end of the game. They might have just...
They don't push nearly as fast as SNA, but they do have a lot of time. And that... Oh god, that net worth change is disgusting. So here we go. Dragon Knight does not have his ult as of yet, still on cooldown. But they should be able to get this tower at the very least. But
Now
again,
they're gonna
Tiny
get.
dead
The
for
question
70
is if
seconds.
they get 2 lanes of Rax or go for the GG. They could go GG. I think they will.
Not even going to bother with the barracks.
No.
All right, here we go. Going for the G Jizzle. TC pops his Dragon Knight ult. Going to apply a little pressure. Fortification's going to delay them just a tad. Way too just... He's just standing there, taunting the enemy. And you're right, they're going for the GG, and I don't think they can do anything about this. 45 seconds left on Tiny, 30 on Nature's Prophet. It's going to be a very anticlimactic ending for SNA, but of course this is a best of 3, so game 2 going to be coming up next. Liquid takes it. I'm not going to call it a throw, but definite misplays there from SNA. Had a very good chance to take that game, but just wasn't in the cards for them apparently.
Those 2 buybacks on the Prophet and Tiny there. I think this game could have gone really long if they didn't do that. But it's the decision making past 60 minutes. It's so hard to do correctly. There's so much risk involved. So much adrenaline as well. They know how big it is. They know Koikve can't buy back if they kill him. They know the Wraith King just bought back as well. If they get in there and they get the kills, they're the ones winning the game. But making the right calls in that situation is something very few teams will do. And of course, I don't know if we can fault them too much for it because it is as hard as it is. But SNA and Ush, of course, in this kind of situation, maybe not the most experienced players. They are new in the competitive scene. And inexperienced players will often make the wrong call in this situation like they did just then.
I think the Satanic was... I think you're right. The BKB would have been a better choice because you saw it. I mean, Demon's ult didn't do a whole lot. It obviously goes through BKB. I think the longest one was the last one. It was like 3 or 4 seconds. But really, it was the 2 halberds afterwards that killed him. And, of course, the buyback on top of that, like you talked about.
So, easy win?
Easy rare.
Whew, that was crazy though.